Let me ask you a question. Have you ever sent a message, an email, a LinkedIn DM, a proposal to someone you knew would be interested, and then nothing? You follow up, nothing. You follow up again, just checking in, nothing. And you sit there in the dark staring at your screen, telling yourself they must be busy. They are probably just going through budget cycles. Maybe they didn't see it. Let me tell you a different story. That person read your message. They understood it. They just didn't give a shit about it. Because you were unremarkable. You sent them a message that looked, smelled, and felt exactly like every other piece of digital garbage they scrolled past this morning. You blended in. You were noise. You were a fucking screenshot they could have taken from a template library. And here's the part that will really piss you off. You blamed it on timing. You blamed it on budget. You blamed it on they didn't get what I do. But the truth, the brutal, uncomfortable, stomach churning truth is that you didn't earn a response. You didn't create asymmetry. You're not ghosted. You were just forgettable. I had a call recently with a founder. He tells me, Vishal, I've sent 50 proposals this quarter. I've got maybe 4 replies and I closed 2. He's proud of that. 2 out of 50. 4% response rate. I looked at him and said, do you realize those 46 people didn't even give you the dignity of a rejection? They didn't say no, they said nothing. And to me, nothing is worse than no. No is a conversation, no is data. No means they saw you, they evaluated you, and they decided you weren't the right fit. There's a transaction there, there's a respect in a no. But nothing means you were invisible. You sent an email that required zero cognitive load to delete. You wasted a fraction of a second of their mental processing power. And they discarded you to protect their own energy. And then, and this is the part that makes you truly insane, you blame the economy. I talk to founders all the time. Vishal, the market is tough right now. People aren't buying. Bullshit. People are buying. They are buying right now. They are signing contracts right now. They are wiring money right now. They just aren't buying from you. Because you approached them like a beggar, not an architect. You wrote an email that said, hi, hope you're well. I see you're doing X. We help with Y. Let me know if you wanna chat. Let me give you an example. There's a founder I know. Well, let's call him Jake. Jake sent an email to a potential enterprise client that said, we offer robust security solution designed to mitigate risk and ensure compliance. Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell is robust? What the hell is mitigate risk? You sound like a legal document. You sound like a press release. You sound like you're afraid to offend them. You're talking to a guy who's terrified of getting hacked. His job is on the line. His reputation is on the line. His children's school fees is on the line if he fucks up, and you send him robust security solution. You give him nothing to feel. You have to understand something. Enterprise buyers are human. They are scared. They are insecure. They are surrounded by internal politics and enemies who are waiting for them to fail. When you send a generic message, you're telling them, I don't understand your specific vulnerability. I don't know what keeps you up at night. I'm just a vendor who wants your money. And they sense it instantly, because the most damaging thing you can do to a high status buyer is waste their time with something that requires them to do the thinking. Let me give you a different approach. I met a founder, let's call her Sarah. She runs a recruitment agency. Her industry average response is maybe 2-3%. Hers is 45. You know why? Because she doesn't send pitches, she sends diagnosis. That is forced asymmetry. She didn't ask for a meeting. She didn't ask, are you interested? She came in, diagnosed the wound, and weaved a solution in front of their face. She put the pressure on them. They aren't ghosting her. They can't. Because if they wait, her candidates might go somewhere else. They feel the scarcity. They feel the pain. You guys are so nice. You're afraid to be aggressive. You're afraid to call out the pain. You're afraid to say, you have a problem and I'm the only one in the market who can fix it. Because what if they say no? What if they reject you? Who cares? You're getting rejected anyway. You're getting rejected silently. You're getting rejected in the trash folder. You're getting rejected by a robot that saw the word synergy and flagged you as spam. At least if you burn it down, you get a reaction. When I send a message, and I have sent messages that generated money, I don't say, please let me know if this is of interest. I say, here's why your current team is failing. Here's why you don't have the balls to fix it. And here's the phone number you need to call before I go fix it for your competitor. And guess what? They call. They call because I made them feel uncomfortable. I made them feel exposed. And that is only feeling that actually moves high ticket money. So let's go to the root of this. Why do you write weak messages? Is it because you don't know the technicalities of their businesses? Is it because you haven't done the research? No, it's because you're scared. You're scared that if you come in too hot, you'll offend them. You're scared that they might see you as arrogant. You're scared that they might tell their network you're a dick. You're managing your reputation in a room full of people who don't even know you exist. That's not management, that's cowardice. You're so concerned with being perceived as professional that you're sacrificing all impact. You've been trained by corporate to be boring because boring keeps you employed, but it never gets you rich. If you run a business, you can't afford to be boring. You cannot afford to be safe. You cannot afford to be just a vendor. You have to be a force, a presence, an architect. The moment you walk into a room, they need to know this person might save my career or they might ruin my week. Either way, I better listen. I can't write the message for you. I can't walk you through the exact words to use because every CEO, every industry, every situation is different. But I can tell you this, when you sit down to write your next email, your next proposal, your next LinkedIn message, ask yourself, does this sound like something that could have been written by a spreadsheet? Does this sound like a template? Does this sound like it could have been sent to 10,000 other people? If the answer is yes, you delete it. You start over and you don't write until you're scared to hit send. Because that fear, the fear that you're going too far, that's the signal. That's the line between invisible and unignorable. You're not ghosted, you just haven't given them a reason to stay.